The device says that you're drinking.
It was hand sanitizer at my job, which I emailed my probation officer that day. It's not alcohol. That's why they took me out the register and put me on the floor.
You know, come up, Miss Peavy. How far along are you?
5 months.
She's consuming alcohol while she's while pregnant.
How?
You're 5 months pregnant. You have positive alcohol usage on August 3rd.
No.
Am I reading Mandarin? I mean,
That's
right?
according to the device, yes, sir.
The device says that you're drinking.
It was hand sanitizer at my job, which I emailed my probation officer that day. It's not alcohol. That's why they took me out the register and put me on the floor to where I won't be around anything that consume alcohol, which is the hand sanitizer at my job. And I let my probation officer know.
Sanitizer dissipates in a matter of a second. Once you put it on and you're done like this, it dissipates in a matter of seconds.
But they write down all the registers and stuff. I have not consumed any alcohol at all.
Not what this report says. Not only does this report say that you're consuming alcohol, you have excessive skips while you're on probation as well. Your Honor, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, so April 4th, skip test. April 16th, skip test. April 18th, skip test. April 24th, skip test. April 25th, skip test. April 29th, May 2nd, May 15th, May 19th, May 22nd, June 2nd, June 4th, June 8th, June 9th, June 13th, June 16th, June 23rd, June 25th, June 26th, June 30th, July 2nd, 5th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and it goes on and it goes on as the day is long.
I was here on the 11th. I seen you on the 11th. We had court. And I said, I work at the register, and I explained to my manager that I had to step away from the register to blow into my device. So as soon as they understood that I'm on a case to where I had to step away from the register, then they had allowed to me, because I have 3 hours of window to blow into my device. So I had got that handled, which I told my probation officer as well. So I allowed my manager to understand to where I could keep my job, to where she can move me to a different department, to where I won't keep leaving from the register to go blow into my device, so I will not be late.
Not only are you allegedly skipping, not only are you allegedly consuming alcohol, but you also have a prior DWI, felony DWI with a child from a year and a half ago.
Impossible, because I have, and you can go to, and they took my blood test at my doctor's as well too. So I have not consumed any alcohol during my pregnancy or before my pregnancy. And when I stood before you on July 11th, I have not took any alcohol at all. That's the honest truth. And I saw you on the July 11th. And then after that, when I had found out I was pregnant, they took my blood and everything. I have not consumed any liquid of alcohol down my throat.
We have clinicians that evaluate you to determine what the best course of action going forward on this probation is. They've deemed, after doing all their research, that the best way moving forward is to put you into a residential treatment program. I like to follow the advice of the clinicians because they know what they're talking about. Not only, are they saying this, but you're also providing us with evidence as to why it's a good idea. You're saying you're not consuming, but I have concrete evidence that you are, and I have dozens of skip tests when you're not supposed to be skipping.
What day that was they said I consume alcohol? Because that's the day that I emailed my lawyer that day, and I was at work.
It's not a negotiation. That's what they're recommending, and I think that it's a good idea.
So that means I go 45 days. I lose my job, I lose my apartment, I lose my kids, might end up having a miscarriage because I'm in there for 45 days for something that I did not do. That's the reason why I'm back, because I have not.
So just the only other thing I could offer is maybe Santa Maria. Have the clinicians considered that? Did they know she was pregnant?
What's the difference of Santa Maria versus?
It's an outpatient drug residential facility treatment center for pregnant females. It's only pregnant females. She can get a bed there reserved for her, but they have to accept her into the program. It's common in felony with pregnant women, but I don't know what it's like here in misdemeanor if they even offer the Santa Maria Hospital, but it's supposed to help pregnant women.
Are you married?
No.
Who's taking care of the other kids?
Me.
You don't have any other person in your life?
boyfriend, but I mean,
Okay, so,
After that.
so you currently live with your boyfriend?
Mhm.
So he's got, possession of the apartment, I would imagine as well. So you're not gonna lose your apartment,
home is in my name, not his.
okay? I mean, as long as the rent is being paid, but my concern is that you're not consuming alcohol, especially while pregnant, because if you do, you're ensuring a lifelong potential problem with that child. I have evidence here that you're consuming alcohol. I have evidence here that you're refusing to blow into the machine like you're supposed to. And that's why we do these. Recommend.
I'm so
I
sorry.
know that you don't like it, but I'm
No,
sorry.
because I can't just stand here and just, I can understand the skill part, but the actually consuming, drinking alcohol, I can't stand here. And that's on everything I love. I have not consumed any alcohol since you put me on probation. Since we had this last conversation, I have not put a
Have
risk.
evidentiary proof to the otherwise.
Germans have alcohol in there. So it's like y'all saying that I actually took a cup. I actually put it to my mouth and I actually drunk the alcohol while I'm pregnant. I can't stand here and let that go by and feel like that's okay. Because I knew I have not. And I emailed my probation officer when it happened, when it violated on my device. I'm just national guy. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get him to understand.
I understand that you're upset.
I literally emailed her when the device was violated, when it said violation. I was at work on lunch trying to catch it before 8 o'clock. And that's when it said violation. So I'm trying to figure out, we have hand sanitizer everywhere on the registers. So that's where it came from. It have not come from no alcohol.
It's not hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer doesn't go into the actual tube that you blow into. I mean,
Your
I'm
Honor.
sorry if you,
Your Honor, would you consider if she meets the requirements for this Santa Maria
of
outpatient,
course.
would you be?
Oh, outpatient?
Yes, Your Honor. In light of the fact,
She's been on probation. We've given her the opportunity to do it on her own. And you're not doing it. So that's why we have this now as the alternative. And I always tell everybody, look, I will give you the opportunity to try it yourself. If you're unable to do it, then we're going to do it my way. And I know that you're not going to like it, but that's the reality. The reality is that we don't want you to consume alcohol, especially while you're pregnant. And I've got evidence to the otherwise. And so the only way is to do it our way. I know you don't like it, and I'm sorry, but that's the reality.
Your Honor, if I may, can I have the date that you say that she tested positive for?
Here, I'll give everything to you. If you want more time to take a look at it, just you guys hang tight, go take a look, and we can come back in up here and talk. Don't leave. Otherwise, I'm going to issue a warrant.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay.
SBO, come on up. Page 3.
Good morning, Mr. Bueno.
Morning.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On October 19th of 2024, officers observed and heard the defendant's motor vehicle strike the middle lane and begin swerving into lanes, trying to gain back its control at the 5200 block of Fairmont Parkway. Officers approached the motor vehicle to check on the welfare of the defendant, who is the driver and sole occupant. Upon contact, officers observed signs of intoxication, namely slurred speech and odor of alcohol in the breath on the defendant. The defendant did admit to drinking. SFSTs were conducted, 6 out of 6 on the horizontal gaze and nystagmus, 4 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 2 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. DICs were read. The defendant consented to breath. The breath results were 0.125, 0.120.
Okay.
And this defendant is driver's license eligible, Judge.
Any prior DWIs?
No, Judge, no criminal history.
Okay. Mr. Bueno, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. You have a valid Texas driver license.
Oh, no, not currently, no.
Let me run the LCIC to be sure, Judge.
If you do not have a Texas driver license, you're not allowed to drive, and I am making that a condition of your bond. You must have liability insurance as well. Unless you have both, you're not to drive. If I find that you drive, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do
Yes, sir.
you understand?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today. This is a promise that you're going to make. I don't care what's going on in your life. You cannot justify getting in a car for any reason.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I see that he is eligible, Judge. He may not have one now, but it's not suspended.
Okay, get a license, get liability insurance, and then we will let you drive. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. We're going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or kind of illegal drugs, I'll put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you.
Yes, sir.
How old are you, sir?
Just turned 21 last month.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a framer in a refinery.
How much money do you make a month?
Right now, 17 an hour.
Who do you live with?
My mother.
Do you pay rent?
Yes, sir.
How much do you pay rent a month?
350.
Okay. You may be able to hire a lawyer. I want you to start looking around. Okay. If you have any issues, come back and we can talk. But I mean, if you're making 17 an hour, you work full time, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're making what, $4,000 a month then?
Yeah,
Give or
around
take,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to qualify for an appointed lawyer. You have to be at the poverty guideline. And so, I mean, you're doing great, which is a good thing, but I don't think you necessarily qualify. So start talking around with lawyers. You need to do it quick. This is a DWI. There's a lot of timing requirements. So don't wait a month or two because you're only hurting yourself.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna have you sign this affidavit. After that, I'm gonna have you go to Victoria, sign and reset. After that, you'll go to pretrial for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, okay? All right.
Castro, page 3.
Memorio Castro.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Castro, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and/or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 18th of 2024, officers were traveling at the 10900 block of Scarsdale Boulevard. When officers observed the defendant's motor vehicle driving on the rim, a traffic stop was conducted. Officers observed the defendant exit the driver's side of the vehicle. The defendant immediately stated he had been drinking and advised he had 5 16-ounce beers and told the officers he was drunk. SFCs were refused at the time. Officers detected odors of slurred speech, glossy red eyes, lack of balance, and moderate odor of alcohol in the breath on the defendant's person. The DIC was read. The defendant refused and a blood warrant was signed and executed.
Mr. Castro, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Yes, I do.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Yeah.
I do see that the driver's license is eligible and there's no criminal history.
Okay, Mr. Castro, you can drive as long as you have liability insurance and you have a valid Texas driver license. I am ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, I will put you in jail, revoke your bond. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How old are you, sir?
31.
What do you do for a living?
Service technician.
Okay, we're going to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, we'll get you to pretrial services to sign for your bond conditions. And after that, you'll be free to go. If you like your driver's license, find a lawyer quick. Don't wait a month or two because you're only hurting yourself.
Okay.
You understand?
Thank you.
Okay.
Flores, page 4.
Morning, guys.
Enrique Flores. Mr. Flores, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and/or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 19th of 2024, officers were dispatched to a residential home in Harris County, Texas, regarding a disturbance. Upon arrival, officers met with the reportee who advised the defendant had just left the location in his vehicle. Moments later, officers observed the defendant arrive back at their original location in his vehicle. Upon contact with the defendant, officers observed signs of intoxication, namely bloodshot eyes and odor of alcohol in the breath from the defendant's person. SFCs were administered, 6 out of 6 on the horizontal gaze and nystagmus, 5 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. DICs were read. The defendant consented to blood. A blood draw was signed and executed.
So there wasn't a traditional stop here. What happened?
There was a call from a witness regarding a disturbance. They stated, I don't know what that is. I can take a look at the specifics of that for you.
And then,
And they said the defendant just left in his vehicle. They observe him come back. It turns into a DWI when they observe him operating the vehicle and they start talking to him and he's got signs of intoxication.
something illegal in the car, some kind of traffic infraction?
No, Judge, I believe it's just they're investigating the disturbance and it turned into a DWI after they observed him operating the motor vehicle.
What disturbance?
I can take a look, Judge.
Please. Did David Freeze check in?
No, Judge. Judge Burton?
So, Judge, it looks like the report initially indicated that there were threats made from the reportee, from the defendant to the reportee, and they believe that he was under the influence of alcohol and had just left in a vehicle. They observe him come back and they observe signs of intoxication. They investigate the threats and it turns into a DWI once they observe him operating.
So are they
another
saying that they called because he was
vehicle.
a
Because of the
DWI
threats,
threat?
Judge. Yeah, both, Judge, threats and possible DWI.
Mr. Flores, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. It's a prior deadly conduct. I'm trying to look into that and
Yes, Judge, it
how
looks like
dangerous of a
he took a-
person.
Plea of guilty on 16 days county.
We have in 23, a felony assault, a deadly conduct where a knife is exhibited, and now we have this DWI where there's a reportee with potential family violence involved. Same complaining witness?
Different. The felony cases were a dating relationship. This case, it's immediate family, brother or father.
One more question.
Yes, Judge.
In the felony cases, any kind of alcohol or dope is an allegation, is
I can check for you. briefly,
parcel
Judge.
of the problem. You know, there are some people, stand up.
Yes.
There are some people, when they drink, they become very happy people, like little bunnies jumping in the woods. And then there are those that when they consume alcohol or illegal drugs, they turn into a complete horns and not very nice people. If this is you, don't consume alcohol or illegal drugs. And I'm going to put a monitor on you to make sure that you're not consuming. If I find that you use anything, I'm going to lock you up, deem you a public danger, and make your bond sky high. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
And Judge, yes, alcohol was a factor in the felony.
Both?
Yes, Judge.
Prior felony deadly conduct, you have a prior felony assault. One constant remains in all of those cases. What is that constant?
Alcohol.
Right. I'm going to put a monitor on your ankle so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you better address it, because if you don't, I'm going to do it for you. And I promise you, Mr. Flores, you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand? Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes.
Can you run this license, please? Do you have liability insurance in your name?
And the vehicles that I have are,
Do you have
Yes, yes,
liability
yes, I-
insurance in your name to drive any vehicle that you're using?
see, the vehicles that I have are for my workers. I don't have a vehicle right now. It was, somebody totaled it. So, sorry, I'm trying to make sure.
Do you have car insurance?
Yes,
When in your name?
yes,
You're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have your name on any kind of insurance on the car that you're driving. If I find that you do, likewise, I'm going to put you in jail.
Okay.
Do you understand?
yes, I am.
I'm only asking you to comply with the law. I'm not asking you to do quantum mathematics here.
The judge's license is currently eligible.
So I'm going to order a guardian interlock, and then, but we're going to put a scram on him. I'm going to pay for it for you so that there's no excuse for you. You must charge this battery on a constant and daily basis. If the battery dies, so does your bond. Do
Okay.
you understand?
Yes,
So you saw on this one that we're ordering a scram?
Mhm.
Okay, 3 days to get, please, and waive the fee. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm first going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, you'll get with pretrial for your bond conditions. And after that, you'll be free to go. If you like your license, get on it quick. Don't wait a month or two to get a lawyer, because you're only hurting yourself. Please.
Garza on page 5.
Robert Garza. Mr. Garza, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 19th of 2024, officers were traveling eastbound on the Sam Houston Tollway when he conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it travel at a high rate of speed, 99 miles an hour in a 65-mile-per-hour zone. Upon contact, officers observed the defendant as the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle. Officers observed signs of intoxication, namely slurred speech, odor of alcohol in the breath, and glossy eyes. The defendant admitted he was coming from a party where he had consumed a 6-pack of alcohol. As FSTs were administered, 6 out of 6 on the horizontal gaze nystagmus, 4 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 1 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. DIC was read, defendant refused. A search warrant was signed and executed for the defendant's blood. And Judge, there's no criminal history here and the license is currently eligible.
Okay. Mr. Garza, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
Yes.
Okay. If I find that you drive like this at or above 99 miles an hour or something like that, I'm going to take away your privilege to drive. Do you understand?
Sir.
We have speed limits for a reason. We have on every day, someone dies in Harris County because of some kind of alcohol-related collision. Not on my watch. If I find that you drive like this again, no more driving. Understand?
Sir.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. I see that you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Runcie, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Don't pick up any new cases. Don't drink and don't drive like a complete. You understand?
Sir.
I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria, and then we'll have you sitting back and wait for your lawyer to arrive.
This one, Judge, was reinstated in open hours.
Cameron Gus, Mr. Gus, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Excuse me, you have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers in Harris County, Texas observed the defendant driving at a high rate of speed and attempted to gauge that vehicle's speed. As the officer pulled out to pace the defendant, he heard the defendant accelerate at a high rate of speed. Officers initiated emergency lights and began to pursue the defendant in an attempt to conduct a traffic stop, reaching speeds of up to 130 miles an hour.
130?
Yes, Judge, just to catch up to the defendant. While on the south loop, the defendant turned off all of his lights in an attempt to escape police custody. After approximately 2.9 miles, the defendant pulled over, and him along with two other passengers were detained. While being detained, the defendant stated, quote, "I know what I did," and told officers that a handgun was in the vehicle. Officers found a black handgun on the driver's side seat, unholstered in plain view. Miranda rights were read, and defendant did admit to owning the gun. And this is connected to a felony evading, Judge.
And I see that it was discharged. What happened on that? And tell me, what initially led the cops to him? What was he doing wrong initially?
It looks like they had already observed him driving at a high rate of speed, but it doesn't look like there's a number that they paced him at. I believe that may
That's
have
why.
been the reason. Yes, Judge.
Fine. I mean, or look in the report.
I can check the report. for you,
Please.
Judge. Yes,
Because
Judge.
if they can't, if it's just conclusory,
I understand.
you know, well,
There's the way the report is read, it just says they observed him traveling at a high rate of speed. Do you mind giving me a couple minutes to call the officer before we make a ruling on PC? Or do you just want to make a ruling now? Because the offense report is very lacking. They might have.
no, I'm just gonna rule now.
I
You guys
understand.
can just go re-indict it,
Yes, Judge.
you
I
know.
understand.
Mr. Gus, I'm gonna find no probable cause in your case, but let me alert you to one thing. You know, every single day, multiple people die in Harris County because people drive in a boneheaded manner. You know, we're not asking for much. We just want our streets to be safe. You know, I'm gonna find no probable cause now, but keep our streets safe. We're not asking for much. You know, when you're doing things that you're not supposed to do, bad things are going to happen. Your life is hard enough as it is. When you pick up felonies and misdemeanors, all you're doing is you're making your life even more difficult. What are you doing with yourself these days?
I do.
Yeah, what do you do?
I'm a welder in the plant.
You're a welder, so you make great money. You want to throw your life away because of some stupid, you know? Make better decisions, all right? All right, hang tight for me. Just take a seat back.
Hubler, page 7.
Now, if you were able to supplement it at a different time, and then that's with you guys,
I
right?
understand,
But,
Judge. Thank you.
yeah. And understand, you'll never hurt my feelings, right?
Yes, Judge.
Like, so. All right, good morning, Mr. Hubler. So this is Mr. Butler's client, right?
No,
I just have,
I know which one.
that's it. Yes, okay, can we do that next? Is he here? Okay.
You checked in. You have to talk to
Mr. Butler, we'll do yours next, okay?
Okay, Judge, thank you.
How many times has this dude taken off on us? Mr. Hubler, I'm sending you for a drug test right now.
I checked myself into an,
Stop. I'm sending you for a drug test now. You must come back. If you fail to come back or if you fail to take the test, I'm going to make your bond so high you're going to have hair falling out. Do you understand? Take a seat, don't leave.
Next is page 20.
Yeah, and then we'll do Spanish, yeah. Luis, let me just do this because I got the, good morning, Mr. Yepes.
Morning, Your Honor.
Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
On October 12th of 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's motor vehicle after observing it drive without lights when required at night on a public roadway. Officers also observed the vehicle displaying heavy front side window tint. Upon contact, officers noticed the defendant with signs of intoxication, namely very slurred speech, glossy eyes, strong odor of alcohol in the breath, and very poor balance. SFSTs were conducted, 6 out of 6 on the horizontal gaze and stagnus, 8 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 on the one leg stand. The defendant did admit to drinking. DIC was read, but the defendant refused. Officers obtained a blood warrant and that was signed. The defendant's previous DWI is from 2022 in Indian River County in Florida County, where he obtained a conviction of that.
Okay, just one prior DWI?
I do see just one, Judge.
And Your Honor, if I may jump in,
Sure.
this is the one that you found PC on yesterday.
Correct.
And so I want to tell you that my client has already jumped on the interlock device. He has an appointment tomorrow, Mr. Yepes.
It's Monday morning. up in
Monday
West-
morning.
Yes, sir.
So he's already on top of his game, Judge, on that. I did see that it's kind of weird, like he's got a bond that was set, but then like the case was dismissed for no PC before he ever had an opportunity to make a bond. So we're asking the court to grant him a pretrial bond.
On bond. Has he made bond in the case?
We do have a surety standing by, but under these circumstances, and of course he flew here from Florida, so he's hired an attorney, he's taking care of his business. He does plan on,
What's your position?
Judge, just given the recency of the previous DWI, the state would be opposed to a PR bond and the
oh, come on.
defendant's cases.
When was
Come
the
on.
other DWI?
2022, Judge.
That has nothing to do with his ability to appear in court.
There's also safety of the community, Butler, you know that.
Of course I know that.
So, Mr. Yepes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
I have a valid Florida driver's license.
Do you have liability insurance in
Sure.
your name?
Sure.
Okay. You're not allowed to drive unless you have both. I am ordering you now, and I'm putting a restriction on your license that you're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock.
Sure, Your Honor.
If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock on it, you will go to jail and your bond will go away.
Yes, Your Honor.
Make it high.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication.
Yes, Your Honor.
If I find that you're consuming alcohol, and I don't care where it is, where it's from, what it is, likewise, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you live in Florida, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Right. I have 3 children here in Houston. I have a business in Vero Beach where I was born and raised. So I commute back and forth. I'm here at least 2 weeks, a month, and have been since I was divorced.
So
7
you're
years ago.
here quite,
Yeah, I have 3 children that are all young. My daughter's a freshman at Memorial High School, so volleyball, I try to be as hands-on as I can be, but still be.
my only concern is that you will be randomly called upon to take a drug and alcohol test.
Sure.
If they call you and you're in Florida, you will have to go to a Quest Diagnostics. If you're in Florida,
Yes, sir.
don't go to a Punka City lab. You have to go to a
Quest
Quest. That's a legitimate lab that we know does legitimate work. So it has to be a Quest. Get the result to Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler will get it to us so we know. If you fail if they call you and you don't take a drug test or you don't take the alcohol, whatever it may be, I will revoke your bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I will give you a PR bond now, but this is the only one I'm going to give you. I will not give you another one. If you
Sure.
violate conditions, you pick up a new case, drive when you're not supposed to, because it's very possible that you'll lose your license because of this. If you do, you may not drive.
Yes, Your Honor. I completely understand and I appreciate it.
Now, I will, because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Butler and
Absolutely.
he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court.
Yes, Your Honor.
If Mr. Butler tells me that he can't get a hold of you,
My
likewise, you know what
Sure.
happens.
Yes,
We
Your Honor.
have great communication, Your Honor.
Yeah, I trust you, Mr. Butler. I know.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so for now, I will have you go to Victoria Center Reset. You will eventually have to meet with pretrial for all the conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So you already have the date, Mr. Butler, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we're good then.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Have a
Thanks for coming.
wonderful Friday. Yeah, absolutely.
Two, take care.
Thank you.
The last name? Counsel, in line, on the phone.
Nathan,
Go ahead.
It's Villa Gomez.
Gomez, Villa Gomez.
Villa Gomez.
All right, Judge, page 18.
okay. Oof, oof, oof. 2,823 days old.
That's accurate, Judge.
Mr. Villa Gomez, come up. So before you leave, Nathaniel, we'll need you to do a motion to sub.
Aquí en el centro, por
Oh, I
favor.
did it.
Solo mire, pues, no me mire a mí,
So
le
old, I
contestan
realized
solo en
it.
español.
There's a motion sub, but I can do that. And Judge, we have this worked out with the state,
Tenemos
just so you
arreglado
know.
con el Estado para que solo mire el juez. En lo que dije que solo
Well, I
mire
don't know
a la
because
cara
it's
del
our
juez.
probation,
Understood, Judge.
you know? All I know is that this case is older than, I mean, it's older than Jesus, man,
Lo que Jesús.
you know? Tell me about your compelling story.
Okay, Judge, so my client was born in the 70s here in Houston. He is a United States citizen. His parents took him to Mexico. He was raised in Mexico until he was a teenager. He came back to Houston when he was about 18 or so. In any event, he got this DWI charge in 2016. He pled to probation. He didn't understand all that was required of him. He went in, I think his first setting and told them, look, I can't do that. I can't afford the probation. What I'd like to do is turn in this portable device and turn myself in. They said, we'll let you know. So I have gotten with your CLO and she has confirmed that that was, I have the printout if you'd like to see.
Victoria, what you got?
Yes.
Nathaniel, I'll take a look.
Just recorded, they don't want to participate. But the first, they told him that they-
Just decided he didn't want to do it and he left.
Well, so, and Your Honor, my understanding is he went in to turn in the device. He had every intention of turning himself in at that point.
But he didn't.
Well, they wouldn't take him because the MRP hadn't been drafted. Understood.
They tell you to come to court, you took off, and now 6 years later, you come back and you want mercy?
I think that he had every intention of coming and being square with the court. It's just a matter of timing. The MRP wasn't drafted at the time. But I would say this, Judge. So in the ensuing 8 years, because I guess it's been 2016, 2024. In the ensuing 8 years, I have tax returns for all of those years. He has children ranging from 1 to 22 with the same wife. All of whom are well provided for. During that time, he has used his passport to travel to Mexico several times. He's never had any issues with Border Patrol. I have pictures of him attending his father's funeral earlier this year with the headstone with the 2024 date of death, with him in front of the Oferta. He has done all of those things. He wasn't on the lam by any stretch.
Of course he is. What do you mean he's not on the lam? He's on the lam. There's a warrant for his arrest. I have no idea why no one would arrest him. I don't know, but it's now time. I mean, it's now time to pay the piper.
And so, Judge, showing we have a deal worked out with the state if the court is agreeable to it.
What is the deal?
So I can talk to you about the deal, Judge. So I looked at the probation. It looks like what I'm mostly concerned about is the defendant promised to pay restitution.
Oh, there's restitution on
Yes,
top of it.
Judge.
Oh,
Yes, Judge.
oh,
I indicated that if the court would bless the offer, I would offer a time served if he paid the restitution bill today.
no. If he doesn't pay restitution, he's looking at he's looking at a year in jail. That's what's going on. If you don't pay restitution, you're looking at an entire year in jail. That's what's gonna happen.
Año entero de
But you've
cárcel.
been gone for 8 years and you want me to time serve this case?
¿De tiempo cumplido por este caso?
How much is restitution?
Tanto es la restitución.
$546.
And his daughters are going to get the cashier's check
Van a ir a traer
pursuant to
el
that
cheque
right
de
now.
And we made contact with the complainant. She confirmed she never got paid and she still wants payment. So we drafted a bill.
I would want payment too, but
Address.
Yo también quiero pago.
I can't possibly do.
I can't emphasize enough, Judge, how at his first meeting, he said, I can't afford probation. It was his expectation that he'd be taken in now. So although my client is a citizen, the cultural understanding of you need to go wait for the formal MRP rather than him just showing himself up. So in the ensuing time, he has avoided trouble. This is his one and only time having been arrested. He has taken care of his children.
I'm not
range in
gonna
age.
reward him for doing things that he should be doing anyways. If you have children, you have to take care of your children. If you have a wife, you have to take care of your wife. I'm not gonna reward you for doing things you should be doing anyways. You are charged with a DWI, you're facing a year in jail, you take contempt hearing, you'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive.
Cada vez que usted maneje.
Do you understand?
Yo, señor. Tiene que hablar. Sí, señor o no, señor.
Sí,
Yes.
señor.
You know, I know that you're upset, but I don't think it's unreasonable
No
what
creo que
I'm
es
doing,
algo feo.
Nathaniel. You know, I know that you want to.
6th, he tested positive for methamphetamine.
Mr. Freeze has been testing positive for methamphetamine. And,
He would test negative today if you were to test it.
and I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system of you not to use. And I've repeatedly told you not to pick up theft cases, Mr. Freeze, and you're on.
He didn't pick up any theft cases, Judge. What he did is he had a motion to adjudicate in Montgomery County. He knew that. He turned himself in. He called his probation officer, told him he was turning himself in. And he had to do 180 days there. And he's no longer on probation in Montgomery County.
Can you run an NCIC on Mr. Freeze to see what, if anything, is open, please?
Yes, Judge.
This is a really sad case, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to just move on. Like, I'm trying to go to trade school, so